Hi, my name is Francois Nodia and I am a super teacher. This is the YouTube show all about motivating, inspiring and supporting teachers. And today with me I've got Albert van Wyk from Millionaire at 22 who's going to share with us a few tips on how teachers can become more financially literate and more important, financially independent. Albert, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me on your show. A super fan of Super Teacher. Guys, hi. I think we're going to share some good stuff today. I'm super excited about what we're going to share on financial independence, some financial tools and tips and techniques. I'm sure we're going to get some great value from this.
And just to give you an idea, we're shooting at his studios here in Pretoria in South Africa. This is a newly painted studio. It's amazing. When I walked in here and I saw all the superheroes and I saw all the comic book stuff, I just went, I'm home. I'm home.
Yeah, no, I'm a super comic book fan. Like I have all of the statues and stuff. Since I was small, I love dinosaurs and Buzz Lightyear.
Hit it!
Tell me, Albert, for our audience's sake, please give us some background. Who are you? Where do you come from? And what is Millionaire 22?
Okay, so I was born in Pretoria, the Moot, Pretoria, if you guys know where that is. I went to high school at Hartjes John Forster, and then I went to study industrial engineering at the University of Pretoria. I worked for a year after finishing my studies, a year as an industrial engineer, and then I quit my job and became a full-time entrepreneur, and now I'm currently traveling the country with my book, How to Become a Millionaire at 22. I published the book in May 2017 and currently traveling the country, speaking in schools, doing corporate talks with the mission to teach financial concepts, to teach the correct wealth generation mindset. And the reason that I started Millionaire at 22 is because I realized that a lot of people do not know what to do with their money. They do not know how to invest it. They do not know how to make money. They do not know how to generate wealth. They do not know because they were never taught how. In my situation as well, my parents were not business owners. They were not entrepreneurs. We did not come from a wealthy family. We did not have generational wealth that came through. We had to do everything from scratch. And I needed to learn the financial concepts, the right financial concepts myself, through reading books, through trying some businesses, learning, executing, learning. And I just thought that this is something that needs to be carried over. And I had friends that was older, 30 years old when I was 21 or 20, and I told them about my properties that I bought and my businesses, and they were like, Albert, if you told me these things when I was 20, my life would have been completely different. So I took the responsibility. I said, hey, I know how to do these things. Let me write it down in a book. And I started putting the book out there. And then from there, Millionaire 22 grew into what it is now.
So I'm going to put a link to the book in the description of this video. Be sure to go check it out. But just to give you some context, there's a reason why I connected with Albert. As you know, I've got a strong passion for teachers. And what is the one thing that all teachers struggle with?
Show me the money!
What's the one thing we say? We're not in it for the money. We wish we could be in it for the money. Imagine if teachers got paid for the amount of hours that we actually work.
Yes.
we would most likely be the most paid or highest paid profession. So I decided to reach out to Albert because obviously he's an expert in this field. He's not doing too bad for himself. And I want us in this video just to discuss a few practical tips of what teachers can do to become financially independent. Now, I know it's not really a lot more different from other professions or other entrepreneurs or other people.
Yes.
But I do think that there are specific differences in a teacher's lifestyle that's maybe preventing them from being financially independent. So I think that's where a nice collaboration between the two of us. Albert will come in with a financial advice and I would try and contextualize it for teachers. So we haven't prepared anything, there's no script, this is authentic. We're just running with this video and then out of it, I know for sure there'll be some value to the viewers of this YouTube channel.
Awesome. I'm super excited.
So, Albert, let's start at the start.
Mm.
What should a teacher do with their salary? Let's say I'm a new teacher. I just studied, I finished my 4-year degree. I've just got into teaching. I'm starting now on the 9th of January.
Yes.
I'm starting my new career. And at the end of January, I'm going to get my first paycheck.
Yes.
What do I do?
So, don't spend it.
There you have it. That's the end of the video. Don't spend your money.
I think it was Bill Gates that said, nobody ever got rich by spending their money.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that people do, not just new teachers that gets their first salary, but teachers that gets a raise. Teachers that's been appointed in a new position where they get a little bit more income. What's the first thing they do? They increase their lifestyle, right? They increase their life costs, the running costs of their lifestyle. And that's the biggest mistake that you can make. Because if you are living on the brim, right? Let's say you get $5,000 a month. If you spend the $5,000 that you got for that month, where are you at? Zero. You're back at square one. And a lot of people live like that. I mean, I know people that when they get their paycheck, they pay last month's credit card or debt, right? Then they get their paycheck, then they pay last month. So every month they start at zero. And that's not where you want to be. Mm-hmm. So a very nice analogy that we can use that's in the book Richest Man in Babylon is that imagine a coin purse. Let's say you have a coin purse and you get 10 coins in that purse every month. If you take out all 10 coins, the purse will always be empty. But let's say you leave one coin in there and you only use 9. The next month you only use 9. The next month you only use 9. How many coins are in there now? 3, right? And that can grow exponentially. So I always say, try to save at least 30%. My advice is actually to do it the other way around. I live on 30% of my income and I invest 70%. But if you cannot do that, if you have living costs, you have a family to feed, etc., 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 try to minimize it so that you can at least put away 30% of your income. Right? Put it away in an investment. Let it grow. Let it grow. It's like a rabbit farm. If you have 1 rabbit, can it become more rabbits?
No.
If you have 2 rabbits, then quickly you'll have 4, and then 6, and then if you get to the next, there's 8, and then there's 20. But if you take 19 of those rabbits out of the pen again, they can't become more. And this is so true in your finance as well. It's such an easy concept to understand, but somehow we get it wrong. I do a lot of entrepreneurial consulting, and then I get this guy and he's like 3 months, the other day, 3 months later he comes to me, he's like, Albert, the things you taught me worked, I'm making money. Look at this new watch I bought myself. Look at these new shoes. And that teacher that's just starting now is going to do the same. Mm-hmm. New car, new flat, all of these new things, new furniture, new everything. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Don't start at 0 every month. Build some kind of head start for yourself.
Yes.
I mean, if you have something there, you have some head start for yourself. Because let's be honest, you get your beginning salary, then you have all of these expenses that you have right now. When you think, oh, when I get a raise, I'll invest. You get a raise, you have kids. You need to pay for them, you need to pay their school fees. Then you're like, no, I'm going to study another degree and get a better raise or a new job. And then when you get that, oh, now I have to go to university. So you'll never get ahead.
Yes.
Unless you dedicate a certain percentage of your income to savings.
So for those teachers who are starting now, it's almost the most important time of your financial lifetime.
Yes.
Don't fall behind from the start. Don't do what I did. If I can share a quick anecdote from my life.
Yes.
When I got my first salary, I also wanted new clothes. I wanted the nice, luxurious things I couldn't have when I was a student, that my parents always had to buy for me and I had to go and beg for it. And I never ever want to have that again. So I'm going to be independent, I earn my own salary, and then I start spending. And of course, it's not really, let's say, the best type of investment purchases that you make. I mean, I bought a PlayStation at that time, like a TV and stuff like that.
And it loses value.
It does. Yeah. And did I really use my PlayStation that much? No. After 3 months, it was just gathering dust. But I got advice about a credit card. Like, no, all you do, you take a credit card and then you can spend money on the credit card. And then just make sure you pay back your salary before the end of the month. Just pay it back before the interest is due. Okay, so that's a way of somebody giving you money, the bank giving you money. You can live off that expense or that money, and then you just throw in your salary at the end. Yeah. So I fell for that trap, and I'm not out of it yet. You'll see, I'm going to make a video probably, I've got one video coming on my weight loss journey, and then after that my financial goals for the year. I fell for that trap back in 2007. I am now more than R1 million in debt as I sit here. And I need to get out of it.
Yes.
If I can echo what your friend said, if I knew in 2007 when I started my career, if I had more financial literacy, I wouldn't have been in this problem. So now, Albert, for me, and many of my other colleagues out there who fell for that trap, and who used the excuse, you know what, teachers don't earn a lot of money, so I need to have credit. If I want to buy a house, if I want to rent, if I want to buy a car, I need to have credit. So we've got a lot of teachers who are stuck in debt.
Yes.
What is our first step with our first salary of the year?
Okay, so if you're stuck in debt, the first thing you need to do is to cut on your life expenses, right? You need to cut all of those cheap little things you buy that's not really necessary. You need to cut on your living expenses. And if you have a family or someone that's also living with you that needs that income, have a meeting with them, have a sit down with them and say, hey, look, this is the situation. Because somehow in South Africa, we always want to keep this a big secret. And you have your family and your kids, and they think that everything's financially sound. Because you tell them that. You're like, moenie worry oor die geld nie, alles is gesort, right? And then you still keep on buying them stuff. But you will be surprised if you just say, family, friends, let's have a meeting. This is my financial situation, right? We're going to have to cut on the vacations. We're going to have to, there might not be Christmas presents this year. I mean, I remember in my family, my dad would sit with us and say, hey guys, the money is up for the month. What now? And then my brother would say, okay, I won't get a new PC game this month. And I was like this small, I was like 10 years old. And I would say, hey, okay, I won't get a dinosaur this month, or I won't eat as much sweets or whatever. So we all work together as a family to get through that. So that's the first thing. You need to involve your loved ones, right? You can't go on a saving spree by yourself, right? And then your kid's like, but can I get this toy? Why not? And your friends are like, come out with us, we're going on holiday. Why not? And then you get this negative,
the pushback from
all the time. And it's hard enough to get out of this debt by having pushback as well. So involve them. I know it's going to be a little bit embarrassing. It's going to be a little bit demoralizing, but just do it. Like, take the people close to you, tell them this is the situation, this is what we need to do. And then they can help you out, and then they understand when you say, no, we can't go on this holiday. No, we can't buy this month. And then the second thing you need to do is you should start saving, right? You should start putting away, cutting that debt every month. And then you should only go look at your life, go look at what you're spending on, and live on the limit. See what you really need to pay, and only budget for that. The rest you put away, and don't put it away at the end of the month. Okay? Don't try to save or invest at the end of the month.
No.
Do it in the beginning. So Robert Kiyosaki has a term that he calls pay yourself first. So what that means is you put a debit order on your account to your investment fund, right? So let's say, or to your mortgage that you still have to pay off, or to your debt. And you say, look, let's say you get 5 grand a month, you put 2,000 rand debit order on that account. that goes off on the 1st, or if you get your salary on the 25th, it goes down off on the 26th. And it pulls that $2,000 out and it puts it into an investment account, or it pays off your debt before you can touch it. And then you need to learn how to get by on the 3,000. And I promise you, you'll be surprised on what you can actually get by with. Because you think, I need 10 grand a month, this is what everything costs. But if you start taking out 3 grand in the beginning of the month, and you're only left with 7 grand, you'll see that you'll find a way. You'll survive. You will come through with that. And you'll find ways to save here or to gain more income there. But limit yourself. Because if you have the 7 grand or the 10 grand or the 5 grand in the bank, you're always going to use it. But if you take it out first, then you're forced to survive on the rest.
So one of the things that teachers tend to do, we do say now that we spend money on luxuries, but in some cases, teachers have to, or they want to, pay from their own pockets to cover other learners' stationery, or in some cases for printing or decorating your classroom. Now, that's one of the biggest fights I'm trying to fight, is that there should be budget for a school and from the government for a teacher to decorate their class. But unfortunately, this isn't the case. So many teachers spend money from their own pocket on improving their classroom, improving their lessons, improving the educational environment for the learners. Do you think that is sustainable?
Obviously, it is not, right? If you get a certain amount of income and you have to spend stuff, it's going to run dry somewhere. So the rule of thumb is that you need to create an income stream that can fund something. For example, if you want a new car, let's say you want to buy a new car, you need to create a new income stream above what you're currently living on, what you're currently saving, your current expenses. You need to create something that generates the income to afford that car. So that's how I also live. I'm like, I can't buy anything new unless I create an income stream that can pay for that, right? So if you want to start decorating your classroom, or you want to start investing in your students, pay them for something, rather than taking it out of your own pocket all of the time, why not create some kind of income stream that can fund that? Because then it's sustainable. If the income stream is there, then it's sustainable. When you start funding a student, and then you're in an accident, and now you have to repair your own car, or your geyser burst, and now you have to fix your geyser, then that money is not there. And then that student, the next month, expects the same thing, and now you're not there to provide.
Exactly.
So that's not sustainable, because our lives is like this, business is like this. You have to create some kind of income to fund that separately from what you normally generate.
So the answer here is, or I can
Am I elaborating too much?
No, that's perfect. I can hear my audience screaming at me, and I can bet you it's going to be in the comments of this video. I'm a teacher. Where do I find time to look for or to create these extra income streams? How would that even look like? What am I allowed to do as a teacher? How can I earn more money except for my salary?
Okay, so the first thing you need to do is not to ask me or you what you need to do, right? Because we're not at your school, we are not spending time with your students, we are not in your community, we are not in your environment, right? So we can't give you the answer in terms of your environment. What you need to do, and the answer to that is that you need to start educating yourself about finance. So a lot of people ask me, Albert, what's the biggest secret to success? What's the biggest secret to making millions? What's the biggest secret to becoming a millionaire or billionaire? And I always say there's a lot of things, right? There's no one silver bullet.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that stands out above all of the rest, is that millionaires think differently than what you are thinking like. Okay, a billionaire thinks differently than what you are thinking like. And trust me, I've spent time with millionaires and billionaires. They think completely differently, right? And the best teacher in the world thinks differently than what you think like. Because we all think that we think the same, but we need to understand that you need to have a different form of thinking. So if you want to have a better financial life, if you want to create more wealth for yourself, then you need to start thinking like people that can create a lot of wealth for themselves.
So how do you do that?
So the first thing you need to do is you need to take in better content. If you say you want to generate more income, how many books have you read on generating more income? How many podcasts have you listened? How many YouTube videos have you watched on generating more income? Right? So that's your first problem. You need to take in more content. So go read the books. Read entrepreneurial books. Read finance books. Read investing books. Read wealth generating books, right? Because then what happens is you take in that content. Your mind starts taking in the content and starts thinking about these things. So now when you walk on the school grounds, you're not thinking about what happened last night in your series you're following. You're thinking about, hey, I read about passive income streams. I read about how to monetize your passion. So now as you're walking on the school ground, you're thinking about, how can I monetize this? Oh, there's some sort of passive income stream that I can maybe utilize. Hey, there's a need or an opportunity. How can I use that to monetize that? So now your brain is thinking differently and you're seeing different things that you've never seen before. I'm a property investor, so I buy property, I renovate, I sell, I rent out. And before I bought property, I always drove in the neighborhoods and I saw the green grass and the nice houses and everything. I never saw the for sale signs. As soon as I started reading property investment books, as soon as I started buying property, as soon as I became a property investor, I promise you, I can't drive anywhere without seeing for sale signs.
So if I could take that back to the classroom or the school environment, teachers, we tend to moan a lot. What's the staff room for? My experience is the staff room is all about gossiping. Okay? The staff room is where we moan the most.
No, the staff room is your client base. The staff room is your target market.
That's what it's supposed to be. When you, as you say, when you start consuming content about problem solving, if you consume content about the challenges that you are facing and how to solve it, you start seeing the solutions.
Yes.
So,
because you're thinking about that, right?
Yes.
You're thinking about how can I make more money. The other thing is being you're saying I get 10 grand a month. Fine, I'm a teacher, I don't get a lot, 10 grand is what I get, that's it. Then your brain is not thinking. But if you say, listen, I want to spend some money on these kids, how can I generate more income? Then you start reading books. Now your brain is thinking the whole time, how? So when you walk around, you're focused on, hey, there's an opportunity. Hey, there's how, because you're looking for it. You're searching for it.
So you have to prime your mind.
Yes, it all starts there.
Keep your mind on track with what you really want, and you're going to find the solutions.
Yes.
But what do we do with our downtime? As you said, we watch series, or you watch a soapy, or what are you watching on YouTube? Hopefully you're watching this channel. Hopefully you're watching Albert's channel. Okay, consume these type of things, and it's going to improve your financial life.
Yes, because the thing is, you see what you're thinking about, right? Again, have you ever driven on the highway? 1,000 cars passes you on the left-hand lane. You can't remember their brands, you can't remember even seeing them, their colors, but as soon as your favorite car passes by, you immediately see it.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're focused on that car, and it passes you by and you see it. Your brain can only handle so much. It deletes all of those other cars, and it only shows you what you're focused on. So if you're focused on, there's no opportunity, there's no money in this, the economy is bad, what are you going to see?
It's just going to see.
You're going to see it everywhere. If you're focused on positive, where can I find opportunity? How can I increase my income? You're going to see the opportunities everywhere. When I walk into a business, people's like, how can I improve? What can I do? How can I generate income? Within 2-3 minutes, I can at least name them 10 opportunities that they can use right there that they've never seen before, because they're not focused on that. And as soon as you start reading in your downtime, read books, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos on money, finance, and creating wealth, then you'll see a massive change in your life almost instantly.
I think we've got so much content for one video, and I can probably go on and on and on because I want to learn from your wisdom, but that's what the book is for. So I'll definitely jump into that one, and I hope all of you will also take a look at the book, go check out his podcast. I'll put all of the links to Albert's social media pages in the description down below. Make sure to go follow the individuals whose lifestyles emulate what you want. And it just can't be any different. Purely by osmosis, you are going to improve your life.
Yes.
Albert, thank you so much for spending time with me and allowing me into your studio.
No, it's
and for sharing these practical tips, because I think that's what's lacking is there's a lot of jargon when it comes to financial literacy, but the practical advice is lacking.
So I think if we can sum it up into 3 points, it is you need to take in more financial content. You need to pay yourself first, take the money out of the account first, and then you need to start investing. And then from there, your rabbit farm will just grow.
I'm looking forward to getting myself out of my little debt rabbit farm and putting that into reverse. Albert, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, Francois. It's awesome being on your channel, guys. I hope you enjoyed this and had a lot of value and that you can implement it immediately.
If you want to have more value and you want to subscribe to this channel, that'll be great. I told you in the start, this channel is all about inspiring, motivating, supporting teachers and creating a community of super teachers. So subscribe to this channel and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.
Awesome.